Woohoo! So, as the title says, there will be spoilers in this. Oh, and it looks like someone's trying to ring me. Anyways, so, spoilers. After the jaw-dropping events of Spider-Man Far From Home, it's not only jaw-dropping, it was also fun, okay? At the end of Spider-Man Far From Home, we get to see J.K. Simmons return as Mr. Jamison, the beloved, funny, over-the-top chief editor of New York's Daily Bugle. And they made him into kind of a conspiracy theorist type. Actually, come to think of it, Mr. Jamison has always been a conspiracy theorist character. But they made him modern. Say, for instance, he's got his own network, maybe he's got his own podcast. We don't know until we see the movie. Or unless we see this adaptation of Mr. Jamison. Actually, I think Mr. Jamison's adaptations are always the same. It's just that they kind of make him either modern or with the time. Actually, yeah, they do make him with the time. Throughout the cartoon series of the 60s and the 90s, they really made him adapt to that time. He's immortal. I always liked Mr. Jamison as a little kid. I used to kind of impersonate him when I was little. I even had a little toy of him when I was around the time the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man film came out. Anyways, so after the bombshell ending of Spider-Man Far From Home, where Mr. Jamison reveals a clip that Mysterio reveals, and Mysterio says, "Peter Parker is Spider-Man! For the first time in cinematic history, Peter Parker's identity is revealed. Everyone now knows he is Spider-Man." This trailer shows us that Spider-Man approaches Dr. Stephen Strange for help. Benedict Cumberbatch. Oh man, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, when you think about it, it's all one gigantic movie. All of it is. Anyways, so he approaches Dr. Stephen Strange, or Dr. Strange, one of the greatest sorcerers in film history, and he asks him if there's a way he could cast a spell out to make everyone forget. Kind of like Men in Black, Will Smith, and Tommy Lee Jones's Neuralizer, but more in an epic, fantastical way, almost like a Lord of the Rings kind, So, it looks like, and this is what the teaser suggests. Teasers always suggest. Actually, no, come to think of it, all trailers and all teasers suggest. And what this teaser trailer suggests is Willem Dafoe's returning for the Green Goblin. We see one of the pumpkin bombs from the original Sam Raimi trilogy in the early 2000s. And we also see Alfred Molina return as Doc Ock. It's kind of like a childhood coming back, I grew up watching the Spider-Man movies, the cartoons from the 60s and the 90s, and the movies with Tobey Maguire and James Franco and Kirsten Dunst. And out of all the villains that I liked Green Goblin, but not as much as I liked Doc Ock. Why did I like Doc Ock? Well, I think it was because of the whole mad scientist scenario they gave him. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think a lot of the villains in Spider-Man are mad scientists. Norman Osborn, he was kind of a mad scientist as well. Anyways, I think what the trailer is suggesting is it is activating the multiverse, or the Spider-Verse. And we did get a glimpse of the multiverse/Spider-Verse in the 2018 animated film Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which is one of my favorite animated films, if you ask me. In fact, I think it's the best animation since Toy Story. Sorry, Toy Story fans out there. I am a Toy Story fan, of course, but I think the animation was a far cry from Toy Story's digital animation. So, I'm actually a little nervous that the Marvel Cinematic Universe for the next phases might show us the multiple different Spider-Mans. There's a lot of rumors going on saying that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are going to return for their roles, for their Spider-Man characters. And I'm anxious to know anxious to see if the Spider-Verse will work out for the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.